class, and welcome to lesson 7.4, solve and write multiplication equations. So this has been the exact same as our earlier chapter, except now we've moved on from addition and subtraction to multiplication. So I want you first to think of words that start with co. So in the chat, think of a word that starts with co. So far, we got Romina, who wrote co-star. And then we have Delaney, who wrote co-owner. Romina also wrote co-founder. We got Camilla, who wrote co-worker. We've got Ava right now, who wrote co-host. So Sophie wrote co-manager, which I'm not fitting on here because I don't want to write the whole thing. And then we've got the word, how about the word like co-pilot? Let's think about what those words mean. We've got all of these words, co. What do they mean, Vahe?
Maybe like a partner.
Like a partner, exactly. So it's something that works with the original. So we've got the original, we've got something there, and it's something that works. Can you have a co-pilot without a pilot? No. It's not going to be.
Maybe if you're absent, the co-host can take over.
Ooh, she says if you're absent, the co-host can take over. I like that. It's true. But here, like what we're saying is the co goes with the original. So co, as we were saying, it means that it goes with the main part. It goes with that main part. So it goes with it. Co goes with it. And now you're going to say, okay, where are we getting this word for? Why are we getting introduced to this intro called co? We are going to be learning about something called a coefficient. A coefficient. Let's say I have 2x. What do we think would be the coefficient here? What do we think would be the coefficient, Vahe?
Multiplication.
He said multiplication would be the coefficient. That's the operation, Marley.
Oh.
She says x. Ooh, we're close because that would be our variable. So what is left? Perfect, exactly. We see a 2. Our 2 is our coefficient. That's what's changing the x. That's what's doing it like that. Anytime you see a number in front of the x, 1/3 x, 17y, 14 heart. All of those numbers in front of the symbol, all of the numbers in front of our variable are called our coefficient. So what we're going to write down is it is the number in front of the variable. So that's what a coefficient is, the number in front of the variable. So I want you guys to write the equation for this. So I want us to write this. Matthew is downloading ringtones. The cost to download each ringtone is $2. When Matthew is finished, he has spent a total of $10. Let X represent the number of ringtones. So we're going to have something X is equal to something. So I want to see. Lucas, what do you think the equation is?
I think the equation would be 2 or like, since we're doing multiplication, I feel like it would be 2 times x equals 10.
He's correct. 2 times x equals 10. I don't even need that times because remember, when things are touching, it means multiply. Exactly. So what this means, this is the money. This is each ringtone. And then that's the total. I love this question because I don't think any of you guys have ever heard about downloading and paying for ringtones.
I had to.
So we got our nice 2x equals 10. Our coefficient here is 2. Because we're doing some multiplication. So based on the other lessons, when I see addition in the problem, I solve it with subtraction. When I see subtraction, I solve it with addition. How do you think we're going to go about solving a multiplication equation? How do you think I'm going to go about doing that? Amelia, what do you think?
We're gonna divide.
Perfect. I'm going to use division to solve this multiplication equation. You guys are all looking at me like, if it's a multiplication equation, why not just multiply? That's because I need to get x by itself. Multiplying 2 times x, if I don't know what x is, that's not going to help me at all. So I need to divide. On your fingers, what number am I dividing? On your fingers, what number am I dividing? Yeah, I'm going to be dividing by 2. I'm going to be dividing by 2. 2 over 2 is equal to 1. Anything over itself is equal to 1. So it would be 1x. We don't want to write the 1. That's too much. We just write x. And then on your fingers, 10 divided by 2 is... Yes, perfect, you guys. We get 5. And hey, if we checked our work, wouldn't that make sense? If we checked our work, we would see, oh, hey, 2 times 5 equals 10. So exactly what we do is we're just solving it based on the opposite. What we're trying to do is isolate the variable. Isolate the variable means to get it all on its own, quarantine style. This variable, it got COVID, y'all. This variable got COVID. We want to get that variable all on its own side. It has to be isolated. We don't want any number to get sick next to it, so we are going to isolate it. So super easy. What is it going to be, Amelia, for the first one?
3.
3. 3 over 3 equals 1. Delaney, what about the second one?
2,174.
Perfect. Hey, what we're basically doing here is we had 3 and we divided it by 3 because remember, something like this sign means to divide, just like it's placeholders, right? It's just placeholders. So since that sign means to divide, 3 divided by 3 gives us 1. We are trying to get 1. So if I had 3x or 2,174x, at the very end I would get 1x no matter what for both of them. I don't even need to write 1 because it's just a singular x. So look at that. Same exact thing. Same exact thing. All I'm doing is dividing by the number that's next to the x that's being multiplied to the x. I want you to solve these 4 problems for me. Amelia, if you were showing your work, just like what you were doing, you would show it by doing this, because I know you got the answer you wrote in the chat. So for 3x, you would do that divided by 3 is equal to 6. Oops. Divided by 3. There you go. That's showing your work. 3x divided by 3, hey, just like we saw on this previous page, is just x. 6 divided by 3 is 2. Excellent. I want Ben. Tell me what work you did for the second one.
Well, I looked over my multiplication tables and I know that 2 times 4 equals 8, so
Exactly.
therefore the unknown variable is 2.
So exactly, our answer is 2. Who would like to tell me how we can show our work and get there, Lucas?
We can show our work by doing, first it would be like, 4 over 4.
Perfect.
And then you would, symbol, and then you would put, 8 over 4.
Perfect, because what we do to one side, we do to the other. That goes away. We're left with x equals, and just like Ben said, 2. There we go. That's showing our work. I want to know, let's see, Abner, what am I going to do for the third one?
What you're gonna do is first you're gonna go 3. I'm pretty sure it's gonna be 3 divided by 15.
Ooh, very close. It's 3 divided by 3, whatever's happening on the x side. So then what am I going to be dividing 15 by, Abner?
15.
What we do to one side, we do to the other. So I'm dividing it by 3. What we do to one side, we do to the other. Abner, what is 3 divided by 3?
1.
Perfect. So 1, just 1x or x. And then what is 15 divided by 3? Perfect. So our answer is 5, and that's us showing our work. Camilla, what about the last one? Tell me how you showed your work.
I showed my work. So first, I did 14 divided by 2, and I got 7. So x equals 7.
Remember, I need to see what you do to one side, you do to the other. So she did 2 divided by 2, and then also 14 divided by 2, because 2 is equal to 2. We get that. Those go away, we get x equals 7. Here's what our questions are going to be like on the test. So Vincent and some friends shared the cost of a package of blank CDs. The package cost $24, and each person contributed $6. How many people shared the cost of CDs? So the first thing you need to do is you need to write the equation. And then you need to show your work and solve it. But the last thing I want, the very first thing actually, is I want you to tell me what x means. So x means what? So it's our unknown. What is our unknown? So you could say x means, or unknown is. Lucas, what's our unknown?
Our unknown is the, how many people shared the cost of the CDs.
Yep, it says it right there. How many people shared the cost of CDs? That's how easy it is to find the unknown. So Camilla, tell me my equation. What equation do I get?
The equation is 6x equals 24.
How did you get 6x equals 24?
So when they say the package costs $24, it means it's the total.
Perfect, that's what it's equal to, $24. And then?
And then they contributed 6, so then the unknown would go with 6.
Exactly, they contributed $6, and they, we don't know who they is. So that's what we would write here. Based on that, as I see in the chat, Eduardo, how am I going to solve? Walk me through the steps of how I solve.
The way I do it is I just divide 24 divided by 6. That's how I got 4.
And 6 divided by 6, don't forget that step. Those two cancel out. We get x equals, and as he said, 4. Ta-da! Try this one, you guys. Write the equation in the chat. In 2004, Penn Hadow and Simon Murray walked 680 miles to the South Pole. The trip took 58 days. Suppose they traveled the same distance each day. Write and solve a multiplication equation to find out how many miles they traveled each day. First, I want you to tell me, what is the unknown? I want to know, what is the unknown? Lucia, what is the unknown?
How many miles they traveled each day?
Exactly. Our unknown is about how many miles they traveled each day. To find out how many miles they traveled. That's what we don't know. So Marjorie, what did you get as your equation?
I got 58 times x equals 680.
Perfect. 58x equals 680. How did you know it was 58x and not 680x?
So I knew it was 58 x because on the top, or like on the equation, it says walk 600 miles, so like the total, I guess.
Yes.
And on the next sentence, it says trip took 58 days. So 58 days means that that's the number you have to multiply with the variable to get the 680.
Exactly. It matches. It took 58 days, and we don't know how much they walked each day. So this is the days, that's how much they walked each day, and that's the total. So exactly. Then as we would solve, we would divide each side by 58. Like I said, it's incredibly important that you guys write it like that. You divide each side by 58. 58 divided by 58, that's gone. So I'm left with just x equals, I have now isolated my variable. I've isolated my variable. So it says about how many days. On your test, I would never have one that's an about that gives you like a decimal or to round. But what we would get doing this mentally, I know that 58 times 10 is 580. This is about 100 more. That's about 2 of the 58s, a little less. But we would get our answer to be 11.72. About how many days? 12 days. We round up because they can't have walked less than 11.72 days to get there on time, right? They had to walk more, just like we would have to buy more room on a bus to fit the students. As a reminder, when we're dividing by decimals, however, the divisor cannot have a decimal. So you must move the divisor's decimal all the way to the right and the dividends the exact same. So I want you to solve for x here. I want you to solve for x. So Lucas said he was a little confused. Let's just do it. We want to get our x by itself. Lucas, how do I get my x all by itself? What am I going to do?
What you would do is you would have to divide.
I would divide both sides.
You would divide both sides by 3.28.
Perfect.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I would do. 3.28 divided by 3.28. We get that. We are left with x equals. Now I have to divide 19 and 68 hundredths by 3 and 28 hundredths. So let's do this together. The first thing is this one cannot have a decimal, so I move it over twice. I do the same thing here. Remembering from chapter 3, do we move them over until they're both at the end, and so we just move all of the decimals all the way to the end, or do we move them over the same amount? Who would like to tell me? Do I move both of the decimals over until the very end, or do I move them over the same amount? What do I do? Do I move them over all the way to the end or the same amount? Marjorie's correct. We move them over the same amount. So even if this had 3, 9, 7, 5 after, I would still put my decimal right there, just the 2 spots over. Hey, but this ended up being really convenient. Now I have no more decimal. 328 does not go into 1, does not go into 19, does not go into 196, but I'm going to use my brain and I'm going to use some estimating powers. 3 goes into 19. If I'm looking at that, it goes in a little over 6 times. So let's see. 328 times 6. This is how you can use multiplication to solve division problems. 6 times 8 is 48. 6 times 2 is 12. Plus 4 gives me 16. I put that there. 6 times 3 is 18. Plus 1 is 19. Hey, I found out it is exactly 6. That's how you can use your estimation skills, your guesstimation to figure it out. Go to guided practice page 554. Guided practice page 554. So Sebastian, for the first problem, number 1, what am I going to do to solve? I want to isolate that variable. I want to get a equals. How do I do that? So what am I going to do to that 2, that coefficient? I'm going to divide it. I'm going to divide each side by 2. What we do to one side, we do to the other. 2 over 2, just like we saw earlier, that gets rid of it. A is now isolated. And then what is 6 divided by 2, Sebastian? Yes, we get 3. Excellent. Let's show our work for this second one here as well. So I want to show it for the second one. Pearson, walk me through this one. How do I solve it?
So what you do, so 20 equals 4c, right? So we need to divide 4 by 20.
We're not dividing 4 by 20. We want to get c equals.
Oh, sorry. We need to try to get
So we're going to divide each side by
4.
to get rid of that 4. 4 divided by 4 is gone. I'm now left with C. And what is 20 divided by 4, Pearson?
That is 5. And so it's 5C or 5C.
Marjorie, for number 3, what do I do?
Okay, so for number 3, I had done the crossing out thing. So what you do to one side, you do the other side. So then I crossed out the 9.4 side, and then on the other side, I put the 9.4 on the bottom and the 28.2 on the top. Then I got 3.
Perfect. So exactly, that's what she ended up getting. She did great. What we do to one side, we do to the other. So she divided both sides. Let's see. The length of an object in feet is equal to 3 times its length in yards. The length of a water slide is 48 feet. So write and solve the multiplication problem to find the length of the water slide in yards. What is my unknown? Vahe?
The length of the water slide in yards.
Excellent. Length of the water slide in yards is our unknown. So I'm going to say that's why, because it's in yards. I want you to type in the chat what our equation would be. So Camilla, what did you get for your equation?
I got 3y equals 48.
Perfect. Here are our clues. Is 48 means equal. Is means equal. And then here's what we got. 3 times its length in yards. That's our yards. 3 times its length in yards. We solve by dividing on both sides. What we do to one side, we do to the other. 3 divided by 3 is gone. And then, Ben, what is y equal to then?
Y equals yards.
The number.
16.
Perfect. Y does equal yards, and it does equal 16. Excellent. So the total time to burn a CD is 18 minutes. Last week, Dimitri spent 90 minutes burning CDs. Write and solve a multiplication equation to find the number of CDs Dimitri burned last weekend. Just like I mentioned earlier, this book seems to be ancient because we're not actually lighting CDs on fire. None of you guys have ever probably burned a CD, and if you have, it's pretty infrequent and or rare. So Camilla, what did you get as your equation?
I got 18x equals 90.
Perfect. What does our unknown stand for? What is it standing for?
It stands for, what's it called? How many CDs did you burn last week?
Perfect. The number of CDs he burned last week. And what matches with CDs is the CD takes 18 minutes. And then he spent a total of 90 minutes. So then how would I go about solving, Camilla?
So, first I divided 18 divided by 18 and crossed that out. Then I did 90 divided by 18 and I got 5.
Perfect. And that's exactly how we do it. All we do is divide. Your homework is page 555, numbers 1 through 7, but I do want you to try them all, okay? I want you to try them all.